Wait, remember those movie trailers? You know, the ones that go,
In a
world where we're inundated by the internet and constantly surrounded by screens, everything feels so huge and us so small.
The kind of masculine energy, I think, is good. And
Here's how to use AI tools to make faceless videos in 5 minutes or
The
less.
Chinese Communist Party is engaged in psychological war.
Ice cream so good. That is good cooking.
Well, depression's real. You're telling me that your mindset is weak.
It's a confusing time right now, but you don't need us to tell you that. So who is us? We're a team of filmmakers, designers, and journalists who grew up on the internet. And over the next 5 weeks, we're going to show you our journey as we came together to make a magazine about creators.
So we want to give back to the ecosystem.
So others like us can find meaning and a place to belong.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves because the story really starts on July 16th, 2024.
I got this DM from a college freshman. Hey Nathan, it read. Just wanted to let you know that many of your pieces on creators and the creator economy are some of my absolute favorites and have been extraordinarily insightful in trying to find my place in the world. All that's to say, I hope you know how impactful your work is, and I'm so excited to be following your work in whatever capacity you may do it. He probably didn't know it, but that message set off a chain reaction of events. And now I find myself here. But how did we end up here?
In 2021, I was 22, and I just moved into my new first apartment in Chicago. I mean, it was this huge city, right, with so much to offer just all at my fingertips, and yet I felt so alone. Most of my peers and friends from college were getting consulting jobs and six-figure paychecks from big tech companies. I was here working around the clock so desperately hard just to try to make a living off of my creativity, just to feel less alone on this path I'd set my sights on.
So one by one, I sent cold emails to creators from my apartment in Chicago, asking them if I could tell their story. To my surprise, they agreed.
If you get a response, you gotta strike while the iron's hot and whatnot. So we took that 50-minute Uber route here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the interview, man.
By the end of 2022, I'd published 4 magazines, documenting the creator world.
First edition of Creator Mag. Physical copy.
It was a lot of hard work, and I spent most of my time alone in my room. But I also saw how much my writing continued to improve. And perhaps more importantly, I felt like I'd formed a lot of strong relationships in the creator world. The internet was starting to feel a little smaller.
Hey, podcast listeners, it's Samir. Welcome to this special episode. I'm joined by...
Hey, everybody. This is Colin.
And this is Nate Graber-Lipperman, one of the writers for the Published Press.
That sounds so official.
It really does.
Love that.
That's nice.
In 2023, I was offered a role with Colin and Samir. I'd been watching their show for a couple of years at that point. The duo interviewed some of the biggest creators on YouTube, and they launched a newsletter publication called The Published Press that was quickly growing. It was an amazing opportunity, and the next 2 years were quite the ride. I traveled everywhere from a creator camp in Salt Lake City to a streaming show set in Las Vegas. I produced and edited several podcasts, spoke at VidCon.
Questions with 32 upvotes. Is John more into Mars or is Hank more into Wimbledon?
This is a great question.
It's pretty close.
Witnessed and played a part in some shenanigans.
Here we go, yeah.
And worked alongside some really talented people every day. At one point, I even arm wrestled Hank Green. That was fun.
There's a lot of positive things I can say about my time working at Publish. But funny enough, there was one DM I received on Twitter in 2023 that really stood out. It was from a then college senior named Moy Zong.
Hi, it's Moy Zhong. So, I was in DC for an internship, and while I was there, I saw this LinkedIn post by a very certain someone.
I want to just reflect on that for a second. I wrote a post about it on LinkedIn.
I think that's where I found out who Nate was. Something along those lines. I'm not exactly sure like where in the timeline I found out about Nate, and I found out about Powder Blue, and I found out about Creator Mag, but what I do remember is that it felt like I had found this great intersection of three of my interests: art, journalism, and the internet. Never did I really think that the people I'd watch online would be these big stars that I could design covers and stories around. And then Creator Mag sort of came along. So I reached out to Nate, and actually, so Nate says he doesn't remember this, but I actually emailed him 2 months prior with interest in Creator Mag. He says he can't find the email, but for me, he's forgiven, but it's not forgotten. But when I came back to LinkedIn, I saw a post that Samir had liked about this guy moving to DC, and I thought I should just give it another shot. I have Nate to thank for a lot of how my life has changed in this past year. I've been designing for the Published Press, making way too many graphics about TikTok, but also designing the first and second edition of the Published Press newspaper. I've met so many more people from the creator world who I've only admired from afar, and I've really deepened, I think, this relationship that I have with digital spaces and art and design. At the same time, Nate has just been talking about restarting all of this, like Creator Mag and Powder Blue. He's been wanting to bring back more deep and original storytelling, to bring back design in the magazine, to bring back apparel, and then also to bring in more video. Credit to myself and Nate. We've both made videos in the past. We've both taken a few editing classes, but when he said he wanted to do video, I said, Nate, I'm going to be so honest. I think we need someone else to bring this vision together.
Me again? No. I already did my part, man. It's Shua's turn now.
Okay, so here's what went down. So Nate and I have been trading messages throughout 2024. I want to build a magazine about creators, and I want to do it in Chicago. Wait, Chicago? Here? Now, I've been uploading videos to YouTube for a long time. 9 years, in fact.
Hi, welcome back to Minecraft. It's been a minute.
But it wasn't until 2020 that I really began to take my YouTube career seriously. Alright, about 8 months ago, deep in the Arctic tundra of the Chicago winters, I told myself, 2020 summer, I'm going to create something amazing, even if it kills me. I didn't mean that quite so literally. Yeah, COVID happened, of course, but I stuck through it. I worked at a nonprofit here in Chicago, so I filmed around it and other life experiences, like getting married. A couple years later, I began working as an editor for another YouTuber here in Chicago. And over the next year, I learned a lot about filmmaking, like lighting and color grading. I even got to work on a documentary. My parents drove into town to watch the premiere, which felt like a very validating moment for them to actually see what the heck I've been doing for so long, and see my name go up on the screen in the credits in an actual movie theater. That this little dream of mine has amounted to something. At the end of 2023, I decided to take the leap into working on my own YouTube channel full time. The next year was full of life-changing moments, and I grew so much from it. The only problem? I've been looking to build my own creative neighborhood here in Chicago, and it felt like I always had to hop on a plane to find it. But this brings me back to the phone call with Nate, and why this theme of making the internet feel smaller resonated with me. But the more time I've spent filming my videos, putting out this creative beacon, the more time I've spent getting to meet people whose work I admire, and just get to know them as a real person first. It's made this path I've chosen so much less intimidating, and in a weird way, so much more welcoming. And that drives me even further to want to make the internet feel smaller. Because we're all living in a subdivision or an apartment building living as creative neighbors in a way.
You know, I feel like Chicago's kind of been underrepresented, underserved. Like, that's not to say that Chicago has nothing to offer. That couldn't be farther from the truth. The thing is, Chicago's got so many things going on, like storytelling events, live music, from blues and house music, to like photography, videography, visual arts. There's so much going on in Chicago, but there hasn't really been a known voice or face of Chicago as a whole. So that's why we're building a studio space in Pilsen. The oldest and most richest art history in Chicago is here in Pilsen.
Otherwise, see you soon.
Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Oh, first IRL meeting.
Crazy.
Bye.
See ya.
So you have kind of a note to the left here. You're facing west. Let me know what you need. I'm around.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
This is crazy, man. Look, we did it, and it's a big moment. And now's when the work starts.
So, we got a couch. Small problem. Our TaskRabbit had a car and not a truck.
Yeah, he helped us bring it down three sets, 3 floors. And then we get outside and he just said, you have a truck, right? That's what it said online. And he went, no. And we're using some random website called Lug we found.
This is the status of our lug.
And now we're sitting on the sidewalk waiting for an hour.
Yeah.
Couch.
In studio.
We did it. Couch is here.
It's here.
All right, we got desk 1, desk 2.
This is nice.
It might look boring, but we're messaging people for our first official event in the studio.
This is when the real work happens. Working the phone lines.
Snack table, of course, fridge and microwave.
Office is somewhat together.
We got desks, we have chairs.
Thanks to one of Nathan's roommates, we finally got a piece of art.
Pizza, man. I gotta call Mr. Malnati, give him a piece of my mind. No, just kidding. Give us free pizza, please.
So today's a big day. Today's the first day we're having guests in the studio space. Kind of got some furnishing going on. It's pretty nice. Got a TV and couch and stuff, and some food.
Just want to say thanks. Honestly, we put this together like starting Wednesday, and it's amazing seeing everyone's faces and just everyone who came through. So it's really cool. I've had, just moved back to Chicago and talked with plenty of Chicago friends about how it feels like the city needs more stuff like this and needs to bring more creatives together and everything. So we want to play a small role in bringing the community together.
This has been like a huge thing for me personally. Growing a YouTube channel in Chicago has been a challenge, but also has brought a lot of blessings and an opportunity to build something bigger than just myself and have other people also grow at the same time. It's like, why not do it? Thank you guys for being part of the hit the ground running with this part of it. Woo!
Thanks for being the camera guy.
Day one!
We want to build a creative neighborhood, and we want to do it right here in Chicago.
So whether you live across the street or around the globe, we want to extend our hand and invite you to this neighborhood.
We've actually been working here in the studio together and also hosting film premieres and game nights every week with our community.
And even if you can't make it to those, what we do have is weekly blogs, essays, and interviews with creative people who inspire us and give us hope.
Once a quarter, we're actually going to be dropping a limited edition print zine, so you can own a piece of our neighborhood and hold it in your hands.
Oh, wait. Don't leave just yet. Remember that DM I got all the way back in the beginning of the video from the college freshman? Yeah, so I actually reached out to him the other day. We hopped on the phone for 30 minutes, learned all about his creative aspirations and hopes and dreams. By the end of our call, I actually had a surprise for him.
Thank you, and just a token of appreciation for that message you sent, almost a year ago by now, as well as just, your interest in the space and clearly your passion for growing along with it, your career here. I was just curious if you would be interested in coming out to our event if we were willing to pay for your flight out here and everything. We'd love to host you and everything.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely. That would be amazing. Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah.
That would be so amazing.
That's right.